What if autism isn't one thing at all? What if the word we've been using for decades is actually hiding two completely different brains underneath? Because that's what a new study just suggested, and it might quietly upend how we think about one of the most talked about conditions on the planet. Scientists scanned the brains of nearly 1,000 people with autism. Then they paired those scans with 20 genetically engineered mouse models, and what they found wasn't a single neurological signature, it was two distinct biological subtypes, two different patterns of how the brain talks to itself. Let me walk you through what that actually means, because once you understand it, a lot of confusing things about autism start to click into place. Your brain is basically a city of regions constantly sending messages back and forth. Some regions handle vision, some handle language, some handle emotion, memory, social cues, motor control, and the magic isn't really in any one region. The magic is in how loudly and how often they talk to each other. That crosstalk is called brain connectivity, and it turns out, in autism, that connectivity isn't broken in just one way. It's broken in two opposite ways. The first group the researchers identified has what they're calling hyperconnectivity. Their brain regions talk more than usual. The signals are louder, the lines are busier. Imagine a group chat where everyone is replying at once, all the time, and nobody can hear themselves think. The second group is the mirror image, hypoconnectivity. Their brain regions talk less than usual. The lines are quieter, the signals are dimmer. Imagine that same group chat, but half the people never reply, and messages just sit there unread. Same diagnosis, opposite wiring. And that is wild, because for years autism has been described as a spectrum, a single line with milder traits on one end and more pronounced traits on the other. But what this research suggests is that the spectrum metaphor might be too simple. It's not one line. It might be at least two completely different roads that happen to share a name. Now here's where the mice come in. The researchers didn't just look at human scans, they used 20 different genetically engineered mouse models, each carrying genetic changes linked to autism in humans. And when they looked at those mice, they saw the same split. Some mouse models showed hyperconnectivity, others showed hypoconnectivity, the same two patterns popping up in animals with different underlying genetics. That's a big deal, because it means this isn't just a quirk of how humans were sorted. The biology itself seems to fall into two camps. Think about what that could explain. Think about why two kids with the same diagnosis can look so different from each other. One might be overwhelmed by sound and light in crowds, constantly flooded with input. Another might seem distant, quiet, harder to reach. For years, parents and clinicians have wrestled with that gap. How can the same condition produce such opposite feeling experiences? Maybe because biologically, it isn't the same condition. Maybe it's two, and if that's true, the implications are huge. Because right now, when someone is diagnosed with autism, the supports and therapies tend to be applied with a pretty broad brush. But a brain with too much chatter and a brain with too little chatter probably don't need the same intervention. They might need almost opposite ones. What calms a hyperconnected brain might leave a hypoconnected brain even more isolated. What stimulates a hypoconnected brain might overwhelm a hyperconnected one. That's why a finding like this matters beyond the lab. It's not just about labels, it's about finally being able to tailor support to the actual brain in front of you. Now, a few honest caveats. This is one study. Nearly 1,000 brain scans is a strong sample, and the mouse work adds biological weight, but science doesn't move on one paper. Other researchers will need to replicate this. They'll need to figure out whether there are really just two subtypes or whether two is just the first cut, and more subtypes are hiding inside those groups. They'll need to work out how to actually identify which subtype a given person belongs to in a clinical setting in a way that's affordable and accessible. But the door has been opened, and what's behind it is a much more nuanced picture of the autistic brain than we had a week ago. Here's the part I keep coming back to. For decades, the conversation around autism has been stuck in this strange place where everyone insists it's a spectrum. But the spectrum is treated like a single dial. Turn it up, turn it down, more autistic, less autistic. And that framing has always felt a little off because the lived experiences described by autistic people themselves are so varied, so specific, so personal that one dial could never capture them. This research is, in a way, science catching up to what a lot of people have been saying for years. That autism isn't one thing, that the inner experience of it can vary not just in intensity, but in kind. And now there's a brain level, biology level reason that might be true. It also raises a quietly fascinating question about every other psychiatric and neurological label we use. Depression, anxiety, ADHD, schizophrenia. How many of those are also umbrella terms hiding multiple distinct biologies underneath? How many conditions that we treat as one thing are actually two things, or five things, wearing the same name because we didn't have the tools to tell them apart? This study is a hint, a serious one, that the categories we've been using to describe the human mind might be much coarser than the mind itself. So the next time you hear someone described as being on the spectrum, you might want to pause, because the spectrum, it turns out, might not be a line at all. It might be a fork, and which path a brain is on could change everything about how we understand it, how we support it, and how we listen to the person living inside it. We spent a long time trying to define autism from the outside. Now, finally, the brain is starting to define it from the inside, and it's telling us a story with more than one ending.